So I was a biochemistry major in college. My dad's still trying to figure that one out, what I'm doing in the internet. And I can tell you that the optimum time for a human being is between the hours of 8 and 10 in the morning. The least productive time is between 2 and 4. That's why in most Latin countries are taking a nap right now, because it's hard to stay awake at this time. So we're going to have some fun, do some videos. If you have any questions, we are a little compressed for time, so I'm going to squeeze this together a little faster. Feel free to raise your hand and ask away. So without any hesitation, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And the title is Social Media, Fear It or Embrace It. And my answer to that, if it's a question, is it's kind of a little of both. And we'll get to that as we go through this presentation. So one of the first things we have to ask ourselves is, what is social media? Because there's a lot of people that have a lot of ideas about what social media is. So we can start with defining what social media is. Now, if you look up here on the screen, that is social media right there. Okay? If you have any questions, I'll be right over here at the end of the presentation. Actually, there has been a little bit of change. I was asked to take the next 4 hours and go through every one of these business models. So if you don't mind, let's go ahead and get started with that. Clearly, there's no way we're going to get through all of this. So what I want to do is give you a few snapshots of information, a few overviews of what social media is and what it can do. It seems like wherever you go, there's some ad that's in your face. You could be going down a country road. My drive here from Atlanta to here, and you see billboards everywhere you go. You go to Times Square in New York, there's billboards and advertisements everywhere. You open up a newspaper, and there's advertisements. You go online, and there's pop-ups and ads and links. Everywhere you turn, there's all of these ads. It's overwhelming. In fact, what do we do with all this information, all of these ads? Most people don't realize that the average person sees 300 messages a day. Of those, only 100 are actually taken in. That means 29 out of 30 advertisements, traditional ads that you see, are completely lost. And I'll tell you what, Generation Y and the millennials are even better at seeing through the ads because they just don't like them. So what I'd like to do is take just a second. I think this is a terrific video parody of the struggle that advertisers and people who are in business have with the consumer today in trying to adapt to this change. So let me see if I can jump into a little video here. Is the sound up? Good.
Hey there. Long time no see. Looking good.
Yeah. Let's just keep this simple. I want a divorce.
What now?
I think you heard me just fine.
Come on. This is me. What's wrong?
We don't talk anymore.
I just put down a mill on a TV commercial just to talk to you.
Exactly. You do all the talking. I never get a chance
Talk on our website, can't you?
Sure. If I want to say, order this product.
See?
It's not exactly a dialogue.
What about the print campaign, You can't tell me you missed a billboard in Times Square. That was like a 200-foot tall declaration of love.
You're saying you love me, but you're not behaving like you love me. It's not genuine.
I don't know. The agency said I was genuinely being funny. Genuinely being charming. They said you would love everything I did.
Would you keep your voice down? You're not doing a radio commercial. Look, whether you're funny or not, it's just, I've changed, and you haven't. I mean, we don't even hang out in the same places anymore. You're not even listening, are you?
Coupons. You want coupons, don't you? Look, come by the store. I got 2 words for you. Loyalty, reduction. Am I right? That was it, wasn't it? Let's just hug.
If you knew me, you'd know I don't care about that.
Know you? Sweetheart, I know everything about you. You're 28 to 34. Your online interests include music, movies, and laser hair removal. You have a modest but dependable disposable income. Am I the only one not getting the problem here?
I'm out of here.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Look, I'll tell you what. Come back here tomorrow. I'll give you the chance to win a Bahamas vacation. There's a small chance, minuscule, but technically still a chance. I want to be like the old days.
So why can't it be like the old days? That's what a lot of people who are running advertising and marketing and businesses are trying to figure out today. What do we do with this social media fad phenomenon occurrence? Well, back in the old days, it's called this complexity conundrum. Well, I don't know why it's doing that, but I'll go ahead and skip here. In the old days, you'd pick up a phone and you'd talk to somebody, or you'd write a letter and you'd email it. It was a one-to-one communication. And along come the 60s, 70s, really in the 80s, you started getting mass marketing. So you had this central point, which is a broadcast television or radio station, that was broadcasting a signal to many people. Well, what you did is you simply inserted your advertisement in the middle of this spot right here in the form of a commercial. And people didn't mind because they got to watch free advertising or free television and so on. Now you have this complexity conundrum where everybody in the internet, anyone could be a broadcaster, anyone can be a blogger or communicator. So where do you put your ads now? Where do you interject your message in social media? Well, you can't in Facebook just put a pop-up because it's kind of like interrupting a conversation. It's a little bit rude. So they're trying to figure out what to do. Now comes along Web 2.0. If you've heard the term Web 2.0, raise your hand. I mean, I'm kind of curious to see, okay, all right, good. A fair amount of people have heard the term Web 2.0. Well, real quick, what is it? It's the second generation of internet. Basically, it's social networking sites, wikis, blogs, virtual worlds, and so on. My favorite quote, this sums it up right here. Why is Web 2.0 so powerful? Because customers have lost trust in traditional sales, marketing, and service. Edelman does a trust barometer among consumers and found that people say the most credible source of information about a company or a product is now a person like me. They don't trust ads, but they do trust their peers and the people that they respect, and they want to hear what their opinion is. And there's this whole Web 3.0 coming. We'll save that for next year, but that's artificial intelligence search, and that's a whole different ballgame that we're getting into. So if you think Web 2.0 is confusing, wait till you get to Web 3.0. Again, we'll save that for some other time. So again, we are going to compress today because I know we're running a little bit behind, so I'm going to go ahead and start firing off. I'll be your guide to social media, what I call social PR. I want to give you some examples of social media. Then I want to tell you what the social graph and some demographics of who's driving it. Then we're going to get into why we're a little afraid. Again, this is all pretty quick. And then finally, how you can join, practically speaking, right now when you walk out today. What are things that you can do? How can you join the conversation? I wasn't trying to be all cool when I said convo. I actually just couldn't fit it in there. So how do you join the conversation? So let's talk about some examples. Have you heard of Twitter? Right? So if you heard of Twitter and you use Twitter, you're twit, and you tweet. Sounds a little profane to me. It's this whole new language. There are 15 billion tweets sent on Twitter since 2006. The Office, you've seen The Office? That's what she said? Well, now that's what she twittered. So there's the whole language that is catching on. When Heath Ledger died in New York, the story actually broke on Twitter. When there was an earthquake in Indonesia, the story did not happen through the mainstream media. It actually happened on Twitter. And when NASA discovered there was ice on the moon, they chose to break it on Twitter because they knew that was the fastest way to disseminate information. And there are ways that you can actually do that too through your constituencies. Twitter's like, for those who don't know, blind copying the world. You write something, if people are followers, it goes to them instantly. Now, in our industry, and this applies to commercial, this applies to any real estate, any business that has a constituency, a user, an end user. And there are some examples in our industry, in the multifamily and single unit, of people actually using Twitter to communicate to their constituencies. So this is Mid-America. Mid-America is a big, big apartment management company. And you can see in some of this that they're actually posting some of the tweets about what's going on at their properties. Some of them on a local level are actually tweeting out that there's a sandwich shop open so all their constituencies can see what's going on in the areas around their properties. Wikipedia. 36% of internet users have used Wikipedia. 8% of the entire world are using Wikipedia at any given time during the day. 4 million articles, 70 million uniques a month. Heard of Facebook? Yeah. Raise your hand if you have a Facebook account. That's a lot of people. Isn't that amazing? A year ago, it would have been less than half of that. 500 million people. I'm sure some of you have probably even seen the movie that came out about it. If it was a country, it'd be the third largest country in the world, just to give you a perspective of it. It's basically a network that connects people personally, professionally, using videos and photos. So again, how do you apply Facebook to maybe your own industry? If you ever do a Facebook page, there are 5 pages that you can do in Facebook, and I recommend a fan page. Don't do a corporate page. Corporate pages are kind of hard to govern. They're a little bulky. They're not that much fun. Fan page is easy to run. It's easy to set up. And it's real easy to friend people and regulate what's being shown on a fan page. So I recommend, of the 5 pages you can do as a business, I recommend doing a fan page. And don't blend personal. Don't blend personal with professional, because you don't want them to see what your other Facebook has to say. Keep them separate. This is an example. Facebook is becoming a second website. So you have a website for your business. Facebook is actually becoming a secondary website because on Facebook you can have people talking about you and with you. You have a wall, you have information about your company, photos, boxes which are basically widgets, videos you can upload, events, so you can tell people what events are going on, is actually now becoming almost a parallel to your existing corporate website. Facebook is becoming that big. In fact, some people buy into Facebook a little bit more because it's the friend aspect versus the corporate feel. Again, you can see some of these companies, how they're structuring the corporate level. I'll kind of skip past that because I think you get some of that. You can do it on a property level, individual level. All this, okay, so let's get to YouTube. 2 billion videos streamed every day on YouTube. There's only 6 billion people on the planet. There's 2 billion streamed every day. That is absolutely phenomenal. And you can do this for your businesses. A company called Gable's Apartments actually created a channel. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. A channel and uploaded all of their videos on YouTube. YouTube. What do you think the #1 search engine is in the world? Google. What do you think the #2 search engine is in the world? YouTube. If you're searching for information or data, you go to Google. If you're searching for pretty much anything else, video, you go to YouTube. It's the #2 search engine in the world. So make darn sure that if you have videos or you have a product that can be illustrated in video, go out and get a YouTube channel. It's very easy to upload it. I mean, they're good at it. They've been doing this for a while. And load up all your videos, create your own channel, and you're actually become searchable on the second most search engine, biggest search engine in the world, which is YouTube now. Blogs. I have a mixed opinion on blogs. It takes some work, but there's 126 million blogs out right now. Wall Street, used to put an article in a newspaper, it appeared. Now they put an article online, and you can see comments at the end of the article. Personally, sometimes I find the comments more entertaining than the article itself. So this is examples of people using blogs. Another example in our industry, you can go out to typepad.com, or you can go out to WordPress. Some of these are free, or it's $9 a month, and you can actually start your own blog. Now, what happens is search engines come in and see what you're looking at and see what kind of information you're putting up. I don't recommend putting up news releases. If you do, have it in a separate section. But I do recommend putting up information that your constituencies might find interesting and that search engines would go, that is interesting. Next time someone types that in, I'm going to bring them up topper. And that's one way to bring up to the top or higher. That's one way you can market yourself through blogs on the search engines. So the social graph. I don't know if any of you heard of the social graph. This is the big thing everyone's trying to figure out in the social world. I'll show you what that is in just a second. And then demographics. Who's driving social media? It's the Generation Y. So who are they? Recognize this guy? Yeah? I don't watch it because I TiVo everything, so I don't watch any commercials. But I will stop to watch the Mac and PC commercials. I still think those are the most entertaining. Next to the E-Trade, those are my favorites. So who's Generation Y? We'll just give a little snapshot of who's driving social media. And they're young adults composed of children of the boomers, Gen Jones, and Gen Xers. That's me. Biggest generation since the baby boomers, and 3 times the size of Gen X. They're plugged in. They're often referred to as digital natives. They don't watch TV. If they do, they're actually using it as background. Often they're actually playing on their iPads, their phones, and all that stuff while TV is in the background. So they're multitaskers. They hate advertising, do not like advertising. If you've got a slogan or something that's, they don't want to see it, an image, all that, they don't buy into it. They respond to humor, irony, and the truth. They're a very jaded group, so they want to hear the truth. And they have 0 brand loyalty. They're on to the next thing, so they're grasshoppers when it comes to that. Work isn't their whole world. Who would hire a Gen Y? They see no reason why people can't be compromising in the business world these days. They believe in culture and flex time. I've managed Gen Y people, just as a side note and a tip. If you manage Gen Y people, they're not going to do something just because you told them to do it. They will, however, if they understand how they fit into the big picture and how it has meaning in what they're doing. You've got a very good employee who's very quick, can grab information very quickly, and can do a high volume of work because of their multitasking abilities. You just got to get them to buy into the big picture.